Hi, I'm Kara of Lady Fox Stitches, and I'm a long arm quilter located in Northern Nevada. Today I have quite a bit to share with you. I have some customer finishes that have come off the long arm recently. I have some quilt projects that are in the works that I'm kind of planning for, and I'll share that with you. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Let's go. I'm going to start with what's been going on around here a little bit. A couple weeks ago, funny story, I was filming a video and I kind of was needing to get that done so I could get some customer quilts out the door. And so I filmed those quilts and then I packaged them up, sent them off in the mail. And then when I went to edit that video, I realized partway through that something happened on the recording and it jumped from regular to slow motion. And so there was like 2 hours of me just mumbling in slow motion. And I was a little bit discouraged and disheartened. And so I just shut the computer and walked away. I was kind of in a rush to get out the door for a quilt retreat that I was headed to. And I just didn't have time nor the emotions to kind of like deal with it and face it. So I've been putting off filming a video for quite some time because I was so discouraged. But I'm back now. I have lots to share. So that was a kind of a funny thing. There's a couple quilts. I did take some still photos of it. And so I will try to pop those up at the end maybe, and I'll just talk to you about those quilts because a couple of them are really, really awesome and I really wanted to share them with you. So we'll do that with still pictures. I'll just pop them in at the end. Hopefully that editing won't be too difficult for me since I do all that myself. I am a one-woman show around here, so could be a little bit interesting, but it's worth seeing. So hang around for that. Like I said, I did go on a quilt retreat with the Long Arm League a couple weeks ago, and I had a really, really great time meeting other long arm quilters and visiting and sewing some of my own projects. You can kind of get a sneak peek right here behind me at the quilt on the long arm. That's actually mine. I made that top at the quilt retreat, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's mostly Tilda fabrics except for the backgrounds, and it's just a really cute quilt. And so when that gets off the machine and I get it bound, I'll be sure to share that with you and show you what I'm quilting on it. So that's what's going on behind me. But when I came back from the retreat, I ended up getting a cold, and I kind of sound funny right now. Hopefully my voice won't give out. I do have my trusty water jug here that I keep on hand all the time. I drink a lot of water. So if my voice gets too crazy, I'll go ahead and take some sips so I can keep talking. Like I said, I came home, I got sick, and so I've been kind of fighting that for a while. That kind of put me behind some of my work. And also, I am taking a quilt pattern writing course right now, and it is a fabulous course. I'm loving it. I'm learning all kinds of cool things, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and so I'm finally doing it. But because I went on a retreat, I came home and got sick, it has put me way behind in my, self-imposed homework and some of these deadlines that I was trying to meet for this course. And that's been a little bit disappointing because I have not been able to catch up all the way. So I'm a bit behind there, but I'm okay with that. I am plugging away bit by bit. I am a little bit behind, but ultimately it is my own pace. I can go at my own pace, that is. And so I'm just going to keep going and keep working on it and keep learning. And like I said, I'm really, really enjoying that. So here in the future, hopefully I will be able to produce my own patterns, and they will be a good quality that you will be able to purchase and follow along with, and we can maybe make some quilts together. So I'm excited about that kind of in the future here with what I'm doing in my quilt studio. So I'm trying to expand my knowledge base, and yeah, so I'm just really excited about that. So that's kind of an update. Also, exciting news, I am headed to actually help one of my children move this weekend. And while there, my son, who is an engineer, has designed a new light bar for my long arm for me. I'm actually really, really excited about it. As you can see, I have this light bar here behind me that works pretty good. It shines good light right on the quilt here. But he has designed a light bar that will actually attach to the Bernina long arm frame that will match the style of the Bernina frame. So I'm quite excited about that. I asked him to give me as much light as possible this along that bar so that I can really light up the space. Here in my quilting studio, it's a wonderful space. It's just off the back end of my home, but there is really poor lighting in here, except for the fact that I have two big walls that are behind the camera that are like big windows. So there's a lot of natural light that comes in during the day and lights up this place, and it's a wonderful place to spend time sewing and creating and quilting. But when the sun goes down, it gets real dark in here. Above my head, I have a ceiling fan with just a built-in light fixture with that ceiling fan, and it gives off the least amount of light possible, I swear. I do have the brightest light bulbs I can fit in there, but it still just is not enough light, and it's difficult to sew. Like I said though, I mean, I have plenty of light over the long arm, but I'm hoping this new light bar system will actually really give me much more light. It'll hopefully reflect off the ceiling, and it will give me much more light to work by when I'm over here on my sewing machine sewing when the sun has gone down, which I don't tend to sew really late very often. I don't, that's usually when I make mistakes. And so I don't do that too often, but I do sew when it gets dark, and especially now that daylight savings is over and the sun sets quite a bit earlier, it gets dark in the winter a lot earlier, and so there's not as much working light in here. And so I've just got a little floor lamp thing that kind of stands over my shoulder. And again, I've got the strongest light bulbs it'll take in there, but it's just not enough light. So I'm really hoping that this new system that my son is building for me is going to do the trick. So I'm excited about that. That will hopefully be here this weekend. Like I said, I'm moving my other son here actually, and he's going to be living in the same town that I live in. So that's exciting for me, because especially because he is bringing along his wife, and a newborn baby. So I'll be a little closer to them, and I'm thrilled for that. So that's a little bit about what's going on here with me, kind of on a personal level and whatnot. And now I can share some customer finishes. If you've noticed today, I'm actually standing. I don't have my chair today. I'm a little higher. And I think maybe that will help as I try to show these quilts and talk about them. I'll just hold them up to the camera this way instead of me trying to get up and down in my chair. So I'm hoping this works a little bit better. I know I'm a little bit of a spaz when it comes to kind of holding up these quilts so that you can really see them. Filming YouTube videos looks so easy when you're just watching videos, but doing it is a whole nother ball game. And so it's been quite an adventure for me to kind of navigate and figure this whole thing out. So I'm hoping that today it's a little bit better, and that you can see these quilts a little bit better. And I'm trying really hard to remember to move slowly and show the quilts a little bit less spastic. So we're going for that today. Okay, first up is a awesome customer quilt that was sent to me by Robin. This is a t-shirt quilt. Normally when I haven't quilted a ton of t-shirt quilts. I've done some for sure, but that's not my regular business. And so she sent me this quilt, and this is one that I have not seen, a style that I have not seen before. And I think it's a really great pattern and a really great idea for t-shirts, because it mixes, it doesn't just do straight blocks of t-shirts. This one mixes it up a little bit, and you get some kind of design elements here. This pattern is called Tilly's Tees, and it's a pattern that can be purchased online. I'll make sure to link it below. This is a pattern by Corey Hadler, and it was in the Quilt Maker magazine in spring of 2025. So that's where you can find this pattern. That's what magazine it's in, but like I said, you can purchase it online, and I'll link to that for sure. Okay, this quilt measures 73 by 73, and it's got these t-shirt blocks, and then it's got half square triangles surrounding it, and it forms this diamond shape. So the inside or the center of this quilt is this orange t-shirt. And as I hope you can see this kind of diamond shape that radiates out from the center. And then the t-shirts are kind of scattered across the quilt. So we go that way, and then we can come across the other side. This one is not trimmed. Customer did not ask for it to be trimmed, so I won't do that. But so it's a little trickier to hold up. But you can kind of see here these t-shirts. So really cool effect on the quilt pattern itself. So let me bring it in and I will show you the pantograph. Okay, let me get a hold of it. Okay, this pantograph is called Ginger Snap, and it's kind of these circles that are stacked inside each other with these little loops leading out of it. It's a great, nice, it's a really nice rounded pantograph, which is what Robin asked for. She, said there's a lot of straight lines in this quilt with just the design, and so she wanted something rounded to kind of offset that. So it worked really nicely. I think we did it I did it pretty loose so that it wouldn't get over quilted. T-shirt quilts do tend to get heavy, and I know Robin was concerned about that and didn't want to kind of add any heaviness or stiffness or anything like that. So we went ahead and went with 80/20 Quilter's Dream batting, and it's nice and thin. It gives a bit stability to these t-shirts, but it's going to be just a really great quilt. So the backing fabric is this gray, let's see, it's kind of got these dotted designs on it. Looks really nice. The thread color is Glide in Cool Gray number 3, which blends in perfectly across the different colors. So obviously the half square triangles in the background fabric is this gray and white, and then these different colors of t-shirts. But with the gray thread, it just goes across the quilt on any of those fabrics and looks really good and blends in and matches. It definitely does not take away from the different t-shirts, but it definitely yeah, it definitely blends in. I mean, you can't even see it from this far away hardly, huh? So there you go. You can see it on that black t-shirt there. It looks really nice. And the backing is that gray color, and you can't see the thread at all. So really excited about this quilt. So we'll get that sent back to Robin. The next quilt I'm going to show you is from my local quilt shop, and they just gave me some yardage to quilt up as a whole cloth quilt. They have a project that they're going to be working on here in the near future. I think it's going to be maybe a quilt coat. I'm not for sure on that, but I think that's what it is, because when I talked to them about the size of the pantograph and everything, they wanted to make sure it was nice and loose, to not add any kind of stiffness, because it needs to have some drape. So let me show you this whole cloth. So basically it's the width of fabric, which is, approximately 42 inches or so across. So it's width of fabric by a length of like 110 inches is what they gave me to work with. So it's very long and quite narrow overall, right? Relatively speaking. This is a really fun fabric. I looked it up, and I can see on the selvage, it's a Free Spirit fabric. Isn't this cool? Like this fun little doodly rainbow, black and white, very graphic, very, what's the word? you know, just very graffiti-like. I think that's the word I'm looking for, which is pretty cool. Let's see, I have it written down here. This is BioGeo 3, and this is a free spirit fabric. And it's got, as you can see, let me see if I can show you. I'll hold it up here like this. So it's got the kind of this border print, or you know, like the design goes along the edge of the fabric, and then down the middle is kind of this white space that swirls around, and then on the other side again is this design kind of that follows along the border. So it's kind of a fun fabric. I'm excited to see what they make with it. If I bring this in, you can really maybe you can see on the white fabric there, it has a white on white or tone on tone design. It's still that kind of graffiti look that swirls around. So I think that's really fun. It's a really fun fabric. You can kind of see the pantograph here. It's called Loose Swirls, which is exactly what we needed. We wanted loose and kind of open in the quilting. And the swirls just kind of mimic the kind of swirling design here in that graffiti. Really colorful, really bold. I think it's really fun. The back that they chose, so this will be like a lining when they do their project, is CAFE spots. So it's the red dots on the purple background, which I think goes really nicely with this print. Nice and bold, very geometric, lots and lots of fun. So I love that. I did use a glide thread in white. That is a really, I don't know how well it is showing up pretty good on camera. It's a very pure, bright white. It's not creamy, it is white. So that's why I chose that thread. And I don't think a bold thread color choice would pair really well over this print on the fabric. That graffiti design, I think, just is too busy and stuff. So I just let the quilting kind of fall in the background. Yeah, so that's going to be really fun. They sent me, along with the fabric, the batting for this. And it is a polyester. And it's just a thin polyester batting, which will probably be really fantastic for a you know, wearable quilt. It will be warm, it's thin, it will join together, it seems, probably very nicely because of its thinness. Yeah, it's going to be great. So we'll get this back to the quilt shop and they can get their sample made. The next quilt is actually one that I did try to film before and ended up in slow motion, so I'm going to redo. But this quilt is still in my possession because it is one that my sister made. And I tend to hang on to her quilts a little bit longer until I see her in person, which this weekend, since we're going to move my son, she lives right there, and I will get this back to her. She didn't have any kind of rush or deadline on it or anything, so it works. So I'm going to re-show and re-talk about it, even though you haven't seen that yet. This is called Shivers, and it's a Halloween quilt. She loves Halloween, and she's going to love this when she sees it all quilted up. So this is a free pattern. I'm going to link it in the description box below, but it's a ton of half square triangles. Every block has half square triangles everywhere. Look at these fun, bold, and very bright colors. These like stripes and everything. Let's see this stripe up here at the top. Yeah, right there. This in the center, this green fabric, I'll bring it in to show you. This green fabric, I love these little spider web hearts. I think that's really cute. And the little pink spider. Awesome. So it's kind of like I guess it's like a medallion quilt where it starts with the big block in the center, kind of radiates itself out with the different sizes of half square triangles and star blocks. Really super duper cute. Okay, the fabric line, I don't know if I said, I have it written here so I don't get it wrong. Okay, the fabric is called Phantasm by Libs Elliott, and that's for Andover. Like I said, the pattern is free. It's called Shivers. The pantograph. Let's talk about the pantograph. Let me bring it in. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Can't really see it. I did it quite large. It's called Liquid, and it almost looks like drips. Let me see if it's if you can see it on the backing. Okay, get it up here. I mean, it's there. It's just got these like kind of drippy, drips, like paint drips on the outside of a paint bucket or something like that. So Liquid is what it's called. I did it in an isocord, like a dark gray thread, not super, super dark, but on the darker, like darker than medium gray, but and it blended in really well with all these really fun, bright fabrics. Maybe on this black. Oh, there you go. There you can see the pantograph. Isn't that cool? So it's basically a squiggly line that goes up and then it goes down and back up, and each row nests inside itself or each other quite deeply. So there's a lot of, yeah, as I quilt out the pantograph, they are really nested quite tightly. Like I said, though, I did it pretty large on this. Oh, I think it turned out so good. She asked for Quilter's Dream Poly Puff batting, and it gives that really, really awesome puff factor. So it's kind of floofy, but I think it's perfect. This quilt is a square quilt, and it measures 72 by 72. I'm not sure if I said that or not. What else? Is there anything else about this? Yeah, Callie, you did great. Great job. I'm so glad I've convinced my sister that she needs to be quilting. So she'll get this back this weekend. Okay, another customer quilt that I have here that I'm really, really excited about. This one is called Just a Bunch of Acorns, and this pattern can be found in the October 2025 magazine, American Patchwork and Quilting. So that's where this pattern comes from. It's a bigger, this turned out pretty big, so it's 77, oh, it won't unfold. 77 by 92. So I'm not going to be able to hold up the whole thing, but hopefully I can hold it up enough that you can see. Oh yeah, it's like bunching up on me. Okay, so it's got these big acorn blocks with their fun little stems. And there's a couple stars at the top. There's one here, and there's a couple stars at the bottom of the quilt. But it's just those acorn blocks staggered. And what a great way to use some like feature fabrics, because the acorns are so large. The fabrics that you can use in them can really show off. So let me bring in a couple. So we've got this one. I'll even show you my favorite. I always look at all the fun favorite fabrics. This acorn top right here, I think is so, let's see if I can get it centered. That acorn top right there is my favorite fabric. I think I even have some of that. Pretty great. All the background fabrics in this quilt are scrappy. They're like scrappy low volume. Really, really cute. There's a nice wide border put on this. And then check out the backing. It is a kind of this beautiful sage green. And it's got like vines and leaves. Yeah, very cool. But customer put in the middle of this quilt on the backing she must have had a spare block. So she put in, is that even straight? No, I'm making it worse. It's so big I can't hold it up. I've got to figure out a way to hang these so you can really get a good view of them. Is that better? Okay, that's straighter. So a nice big extra block right in the back of this backing. I think that looks really, really great. Very festive. This is going to be so fun for this time of year. Kind of this in-between time, from Halloween to Christmas. There's this nice thing called Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, that I think this will be really festive for. So a nice, fun fall quilt. So like I said earlier, this pattern can be found in the October 2025 issue of American Patchwork and Quilting. I didn't talk about the pantograph or anything. Okay, so pantograph on this one. Let me bring it in. Let me find one that's going to show up. Well, maybe you can see it right here on the border. Oh yeah. Okay, let me hold this up. So this pantograph is called Rosemary, and it's like little sprigs of rosemary that just go across the quilt. I kind of enlarged this one so it's decent size. It's pretty big. I thought it went in relation to the acorns, the size of the acorn blocks on this quilt. I thought it matched. So that's what I was going for, kind of matching the size of the blocks to the size of the pantograph. This one was quilted in glide thread linen, and that's the color of it. And you can see it really good on this, burgundy colored border. Shows up really good. But across the rest of the quilt, it blends in very nicely. The batting on this quilt is Quilter's Dream 80/20. And again, that's just a fabulous batting. Good for just about any kind of quilt. This turned out really nice. I'm excited for this to be able to be used and loved during the season. So we've got to get that back to my customer as well. Okay, now I'm going to share with you about a couple of those quilts that I filmed earlier, but it didn't go so well, so we don't have footage of that. But I will just pop up some of those still photos, and as it pans over those, I'll tell you a little bit about each of those quilts. So the first one up is a vintage quilt, and it is made from sugar sack bags, and we knew that for sure because there was some definite stamps on some of the fabric that said sugar. So we know that, and I am no expert in vintage quilts, but this one was probably done quite a while ago. It was stitched by machine. It was really well made. It was nice and square. A lot of vintage quilts are wonky. They have a lot of ruffle and kind of stretched out, from the bias and stuff, just the way they're stitched and manipulated. But this one was done very square and straight, so that made it quite easy actually to quilt. It's called the Grecian square is the name of the block. There's some other names for it too, maybe a Greek square or the Grecian, but the name of the block in the Encyclopedia of Quilt Blocks is called the Grecian square. It's kind of like a churn dash or something like that. It's kind of in that same category. This quilt was 64 by 88. It didn't have any kind of sashing in it. Yeah, but it turned out really lovely. Okay, the backing is a dark blue with kind of like a dotted circular motif, and the binding we did with some patch, like it was a patch, a scrappy, that's the word I'm looking for, a scrappy binding in different blues. So that turned out really, really nice. The thread color is Glide in linen, and that just blended across those kind of muslin fabrics and stuff. So that was really great. Because of the age and stuff of these quilts, these vintage quilts, they can be a little bit fragile. The weave is loose on the fabrics. They're just old, right? And so when you get them quilted up and put some backing and batting in there, it really stabilizes the quilt. And so this quilt is really sturdy now. It's excellent. It will be an excellent quilt to display. Yeah, it's just gonna last many, many more generations. The customer who shipped this to me said that it is a family heirloom. I mean, it's a family member who made it. She wasn't sure if it was her husband's mother or grandmother. So they're not exactly sure who the maker was, but it is definitely someone in the family, someone close to them. And now, because it's quilted and stabilized, they can pass this quilt on to other generations to enjoy for years and years. So, you know, even though we don't know who made it, it's just going to feel extra special. Instead of being in a closet, it can be out on display now. The maker did a really great job, and it was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to quilt. The pantograph is called Moulin Rouge. It has lots of swirls and kind of paisleys that are echoed and some like pearls that are thrown in there. So it's a really, really nice overall pantograph that adds lots of dimension and it just looks really nice on, again, most any quilt, right? It's just a go-to pantograph. The batting in this one was a Pellon cotton needle punched, and that was provided to me by my customer, and I didn't have any problems with it at all. It quilted up really, really lovely. Again, the size is 64 by 88, and it turned out great, and it was an absolute pleasure to work on this quilt. This next quilt is a really beautiful quilt. This was made by Teresa. It's called Prairie Patchwork, and this is a pattern, and it uses a pattern and fabrics from Melissa Gilbert's fabric line called A Walk on the Prairie. I don't know if this particular fabric is still available or not, but I know there is a current line out called like An Evening on the Prairie. So, and it's similar kind of vibes. Really, really cute. So it's pink and green. That's kind of the family, the color family overall. Teresa asked for Quilter's Dream Poly Puff batting, and this pantograph is called Dear Heart. And I think this darling, very feminine, kind of old-fashioned calico vibe quilt just called for this great pantograph, Dear Heart. Hearts and more hearts that just swirl across the whole quilt. And of course, with that poly puff batting, it adds that puff factor that is just absolutely stunning. I think it's the perfect touch for this quilt. It's another big quilt. This is 80 by 100, so it's quite large. The backing was a wide back from the same line, and it has these cute little holly hobbies on it, kind of with an Irish chain effect. So really lovely. The thread that I used is kind of a go-to thread. It's Glide in linen, and of course I used a matching bobbin. So yeah, great quilt, beautiful pattern, beautiful fabrics, just a lot of fun. Okay, that brings us to the end of the customer quilts for this week. You can tell probably with the lighting, time has passed and the sun is setting, and so there's not as much natural light coming into the room, but that's okay. I've got a few more things I want to talk to you about. Just two more projects that I'm working on that I thought I would, or well, I'm going to be working on. I think I've kind of got an idea, and I'm going to get working on those. One I want to get done in the next few weeks. Hopefully I'll have time. Oh my gosh, sometimes I put too much on my plate. I really want to make the Tilda, I don't even know what it's called. Let me pull up the pattern here on my iPad. It's the Winter Birds quilt, and this is Tilda, and it uses the Merry Little Christmas fabric line. Hopefully will this show? Yeah, I love this quilt pattern so much. I die every time I see it. And so I did order some of the fabrics and got them here. I've got a whole stack. They're already numbered and ready to go, so I know what I'm going to use. Oh, I'm so excited about this. There, it's been a really popular line, and I think this quilt in particular has made it is pretty popular because it is like some of the fabrics are completely sold out, I swear, across the country. You cannot get the burgundy color and you cannot get the chambray putty. It just doesn't, it's just not available anymore. It's like sold out everywhere. But when I was on my retreat, when I was at my retreat, I should say, I had someone pull me aside and say, I found the perfect fabric to replace the burgundy in the Tilda line that is sold out. And so we went to the quilt shop there near the retreat, and I found this most fabulous fabric to replace what I needed. So it calls for quite a bit of yardage for that burgundy red stripe. And I did order a fat quarter bundle of fabrics here. So I have what the original fabric is. So the original burgundy fabric is this. It's just a nice, simple little ditzy print, kind of tone on tone. This nice red color, really great. Let me show you the dupe. You guys, look at this fabric. Okay, so this is the dupe. This is the original Tilda. Is that not pretty darn close or what? So I ended up getting yardage of this so that I could make this quilt before this Christmas. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I wasn't too worried about the putty chambray fabric, although the chambray has a really fabulous like drape and fill. The Tilda chambrays are really, really lovely. But I wasn't super worried about buying yardage of that. It's a little more expensive than just like a standard background fabric, which I already have. And so I'm going to be using, instead of the chambray, I'm going to be using a Bella's Solids, and that's in etching stone. I have a bolt of it. I've had it for a while, and I think, let me pull it over here for you so you can see. It's just a nice, it's kind of a warm gray taupey color. It's, I mean, it's very neutral, but it matches, I think it goes really well with like these Tilda fabrics. Let me pull up like one of these really pretty Christmas, look how lovely. So I think it's gonna work. So I'm gonna use what I have. Don't we all need to be a little more economical? I already splurged by buying this fabric, but you know, sometimes you see a quilt and you die and you're like, I have to have this. I need to make this. And that's kind of what happened when I saw this pattern. And I saw it when it first came out, but I put off buying the fabric for just a little too long. The Tilda was sold, the burgundy has been sold out, the putty sold out, but that's okay because I found a really great replacement. So I'm really excited about that. So that's definitely up on the to-do list, quite, you know, high at the top. Hopefully we'll have some time to do that. The other thing I kind of want to make is this quilt pattern. Isn't this cute? Like it came in this like little package. It's so cute. And then the pattern, of course, is just inside this envelope. Really cute. So this is called Flicker, and it is a pattern by Tara Lee. Tara Lee Quiltery. Super cute. And I really like this kind of scrappy, you know, like the purples to the reds to the yellows to the greens to the blues, you know, to the dark ones down here. Excuse me. I've been talking a while and my voice is getting pretty tired. So anyway, Flicker with kind of this rainbow vibe. I've pulled some fabrics and I'm not really sure yet exactly how it's going to work with the fabrics I pulled, but I want to make it work. So let me show you what I pulled. And these are things I've had in my stash. And so you can kind of see the lights to the mediums to the darks. So let me, I wonder if I could just like flip through some of these. So there's some pretty fun, wild, there's a Heather Ross, right? I think that's Art Gallery. All kinds of different fabrics and fabric lines across all the things. Nice lemony yellow one. Yeah, So cute. So some of these fabrics, like this one I've had, this blue one here, I've had a long time. So we're going to use it. To heck with storing it, man. I'm going to use them. So most of them are fat quarter. Some of them are like a half yard. There's a nice red. Some of these darker ones. So I'm thinking these fabrics here with this here quilt pattern. And then my background that I have is just, and I just have it, it's just a white, like a Kona solid or something. I've had it for a while too. I'm trying to use what I have instead of buying some of these things. I don't need to store them forever, right? I buy this fabric because I'm like, oh, I'm going to use it. I love it. And I just want to actually use it and love it. I don't know if you can see. Oh, yeah, you can. Kind of, because I've rolled this quilt here on the long arm just a little bit, and you can see this backing. So this backing is not Tilda, where all these front ones are. But when I looked in my stash of kind of yardage, bits of yardage, I came up with this one, and I think it's going to totally work for backing. The backing, you know, we don't focus on the backs of quilts as much as we do the fronts. And so I think that's going to work. I'm excited to show you when that's done. But you know, when I buy fabric, I normally don't buy a lot. I don't like to buy these big, you know, 3-4 yards. And so whenever I have to buy a backing, I'm always like, oh, that's so much fabric at once. I am a fat quarter girl. I'm a half yard girl. And so I have a lot of quilts or a lot of fabric that's in that size or those sizes. And so these kind of scrappy quilts I get excited about because I'm going to actually use what I've stashed away. Okay, I think that's about all I have to share with you this week. It is getting dark outside, so I'm going to go ahead and shut down the camera and get this up so that we can get back in the YouTube business. Again, my name is Kara. I'm a long arm quilter. And if you need long arm quilting services, you can check out my website. That's ladyfoxstitches.com. And you can see the services I have there. Go ahead and contact me if you'd like, and we can work together. And yeah, I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you next time.